India's first HR turned stand-up comedian. If there is nothing else that you can offer to the person sitting in front of you, nothing, मतलब आपके पास ना idea है, ना सुझाव है, ना solution है, what you can offer is respect and deep listening.
Careers aren't, ladders, but they are journeys to be enjoyed. So, what's that one myth about success you feel that the young professionals, especially the Gen Z, would probably unlearn?
Careers, to my mind, are more zigzag. It is not just about speed, but it is also about navigation. HR has actually taught me how to listen, and podcasting taught me how people pretend to listen.
Hello, everyone, and I am beyond thrilled to launch season 2 of our much loved show, Coffee and Careers with me. That's Shivani. We are back with a fresh pot. It's season 2. And if season 1 was about stories that shaped leaders, this season is going a step further, sparking sharper conversations, keeping the conversations real and relatable, and of course, a lot of fun along the way. So we've slightly changed the pattern this time, where our conversation will be essentially centered around 3 segments. The first one is the rapid fire brew, which is the warm up round. It's a short, snappy, and playful round where we get to know who our speaker really is beyond the realm of their profession. In segment 2, we move from fun to depth. The focus shifts to their core competence and what got them where they are. This is the business part. And here we talk only business. And last but not the least, segment 3 is a fun sign off, the last sip, where we wrap up things on a quirky note. And what better way to kick things off than with someone who truly embodies versatility? My guest today is the HR Bites guy, the man known for his baritone, Sahil Nayyar. Sahil wears many hats. He's a senior HR leader and influencer, a very sought after mentor, a visiting faculty at leading institutions, and a very prolific speaker at many national and international prestigious forums. Beyond the corporate corridors, Sahil has built a reputation of investing deeply in the next generation of professionals, guiding them with equal parts of wisdom and wit. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's officially kick off season 2 of Coffee and Careers by welcoming Sahil. Hi, Sahil. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Hey Shivani, thank you so much. Heartiest congratulations to you and the entire team at Positive Vibes for season
Thank you.
2.
Thank you. Thank you. And Sahil, for the audience, Sahil is also a very good and a very prominent podcaster. He's been running podcasts for many years now, and I'm sure a lot of us would have seen him speaking and hosting on podcasts. So once again, Sahil, let's start with the rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Normally people do the rapid fire towards the end, but I love the fact that you brought it up right up front. So bring it on.
So we're different, right? We don't do what others do. That's what we're known
Absolutely.
for.
Absolutely.
So this is the rapid fire round, and you have to answer everything in the first 5 seconds. There is no thinking time here. So
Bring
let's
it
roll
on.
on.
Bring it on.
Okay, great. So Sahil, the HR Bites guy, or Sahil, the podcaster? Who's got the mic?
I think both, because HR has actually taught me how to listen, and podcasting taught me how people pretend to listen. And therefore, let's be honest, the mic belongs to the person who has better Wi Fi, at least when you're doing shows like this online. And when you're not doing shows online, then of course it's about who has more brains, right? So it's a beautiful challenge between who has better Wi Fi and who is higher on the IQ, EQ, and all the cues that you want to attach in today's world. I know, from intelligence to emotions to spirituality, the list just goes on and on.
Wow. So I thought I threw a googly, but you hit me for a sixer. What an answer that was.
I hit
And
the question for a sixer.
and that was and that is signature Sahil style. So I'm not surprised at all.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go on to the next one, the next googly. Productivity mode of Sahil, early bird espresso shot or midnight filter coffee?
Neither. I think, yeah, neither. I think Sahil's productivity mode is I function on deadlines. So you come and whisper in my ear saying, Sahil, we need this in half an hour. And I think just the challenge, the sheer challenge, drives a lot of adrenaline and it just gets me going. But nothing to add to that challenge with a little bit of hot chocolate, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. I think that sugar rush always helps.
Okay, so Sahil, for the audience, guys, he's not a coffee guy. If you have to meet Sahil, you have to have hot chocolate. So maybe we'll craft another episode. Instead of coffee and careers, we'll say hot chocolate and careers with Sahil. So thanks for that idea, Sahil.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Last question. If not HR, then what? What's the alternate, universe career of Sahil Nayyar?
Universe career, I don't know, but I have said this in
Alternate
some
universe. Some career
alternate
in the
universe.
alternate universe. Yeah.
Career in an alternate universe. I haven't really said this out loud, but maybe I'll use your platform, Shivani, to take this to all your followers and mine. I've said this in few pockets earlier that I have patented a line which would be my alternate universe career, which would essentially be India's first HR turned stand up comedian.
Wow.
I think for the
Tell us
longest
more.
time, yeah, for the longest time, we've always heard that, HR rangoli banata hai, HR says we'll get back to you. The whole world has been living their
Good.
life.
Yeah.
No, so many people have been earning so much of money, so much of applause today. Trust me, if you want to be an awesome stand-up comedian, just crack jokes on HR and everyone's going to laugh. And
Absolutely.
I think maybe I am the guy to complete the circle of life, or maybe I'm the guy to return karma, like they say. And I said,
Yeah.
for so long, people have cracked jokes on HR. I think now it's time for an HR person to become a
Awesome.
stand up comedian.
Awesome. I'm sure there's a lot loud applause going on there, especially from the HR fraternity. Chalo, HR se kisi ko to fayda hoga. Some people may be in that category as well. Great. That's great to know. So when are we getting to see the stand-up comedian side of Sahil Nayyar?
I don't know. It happens in bits and pieces in meetings when you're catching up with friends or otherwise. But I've done a lot of shows on stage, but those have been more keynote speeches or being a moderator or being a panelist. But I think stand up is a different ball game altogether. So I think I don't know when the time is right. I do know there is a calling, but when the calling turns into action, time will tell.
Superb. So I think ours is I probably the first show where you've disclosed this side of yours. So I'm really happy to know that, Sahil, that beyond. So there's one more, feather added to your cap, apart from, being a mentor, being a HR guy, being so many other things, so many other people. I think there's one more, addition. And I think that I know you from many years now. So I think when you said it is your calling, I think I agree with that 100%. You'll do well there, like you do well in
Thank
all
you.
other
Thank
areas.
you. You
So
almost
best
sounded
wishes.
like prime time television saying breaking news. We bring
So this
this
is
first to
breaking news.
you. आप
This
पहले ये
is
बात
breaking
पहली बार
news.
सुन रहे हैं शिवानी के शो पे सुनिए जरा इंडिया का पहला एचआर आज स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन करेगा ओह माय गॉड
So,
हिलेरियस
so Sahil has officially announced it, guys. An influencer has come on the show and announced it. क्या
दिस
ये
इज
हम काटूंगी
डेफिनेटली
ना ये सब.
दिस इज डेफिनेट काटूंगी ये मत काटना ये जरूर डालना people love authenticity people
हाँ,
love genuineness तो अगर ये
हाँ.
काट दोगे तो फिर वो एक स्क्रिप्टेड शो लगेगा let it be
चलो ठीक
natural
है. ठीक है. ठीक है. ठीक है. So great, Sahil. Good to know your future plans, your career pursuits, and more importantly, that you're wanting to follow your calling, something that a lot of people are not able to do despite them wanting to do. So we'll probably, plan another episode on how do you follow your calling, where probably both of us can speak on that. But coming to the core conversation, the deep dives with no jargon. That's the second segment. So the rapid fire round was fun. signature Sahil style. And now let's move on to what got Sahil, where he is today. We all want to know that. You're known for so many things. You juggle mentorship, you juggle leadership, you're in the corporate, if I was to say madness, and you create content. So, how do you keep the deep career conversations alive without letting the daily urgencies take over? What I mean to say is, first of all, how do you find the time to do all of this? And secondly, how do you keep everything so relevant? I mean, I've seen so many, you do so many things and you do it all very well. So how do you ensure that? कैसे होता है ये सब?
Shivani, I think you're just putting me on a pedestal, and while I'm already 6 feet 3 inches tall, I think the pedestal is not helping anymore. But I'll take it with a pinch of humility. Thank you so much for the appreciation. But
But it's
um,
a reality. I mean, people who follow you on LinkedIn or any other social media would see this. You do podcasting. You're a senior HR leader with so many years of experience. You're going to institutions. You're mentoring people. You're doing training sessions. How do you manage all that with a full-time job? I'm sure that's a question that would come to a lot of people's minds.
yeah, I think I'll share the secret with you, and I think if this helps somebody who's listening
Yeah.
in, I think that would be beautiful. Um, in school, college, whatever, we learned this very beautiful word called multitasking, right? And to
Yeah.
my mind, in my dictionary, I think that's the most abused word because I don't think multitasking works. It
I
doesn't work
agree
for me.
100%.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't work
agree.
for me. And I can even prove it, like you said, 100%. I can prove it for anybody else. For a very simple reason that our human brains are not wired to multitask.
Absolutely.
Now, you
Yes.
may come back and say, Sahil, but at Positive Vibes, I have 5 clients and I'm juggling from one client to another to another. I have a retainer agreement somewhere else. I'm doing a training somewhere else. I'm catching a flight to Chennai for my next client where I'm doing a workshop tomorrow. My answer
That's
to
not
you is that is,
multitasking.
yeah, that's not multitasking. That, in my
Yeah.
definition, is called switch
Should.
tasking.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you are switching from one
Yeah.
task to another.
Yeah.
And switching is not multi, very clear,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Second, when you tell your brain that you're not multitasking, your brain chooses to be present in the moment. It's as if you're treating urgencies like WhatsApp groups. All of us are part of hundreds and thousands of groups.
Yeah.
But we've also realized that notifications can be very distracting. So we actually mute our groups.
Yes.
And we go and check the group when we want to check, not when some random person wants to put some message on the group just because that person is free and wants attention or wants a response.
Very
And
true.
that's very similar to deep career conversations that you spoke about. I think, unfortunately, we always carry our toys with us, and these toys have beautiful ways to distract us, which are our mobile phones, our iPads, our
Mm.
laptops. And I think when you're in a deep career conversation, if there is nothing else that you can offer to the person sitting in front of you, nothing,
Mm.
मतलब आपके पास ना idea है, ना सुझाव
Mm.
है, ना solution है,
Mm.
what you can offer is respect and deep listening.
Mm.
And that makes a world of difference, right? When you're present
Absolutely.
in that moment,
Yeah.
100%, right?
Yeah.
100% you're present in that moment, you're
Yeah.
offering respect, automatically you will realize that if you're in touch with your emotions will naturally flow to the other person, and the other person will feel that you are
Mm.
feeling their pain.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you may have the gift of the gab and you may say, you know what, I empathize with you, and that person will look through your eyes and says, Kitna jhoot bol raha hai. Right? The
True.
person's going to say, yeah,
Yeah.
this guy's mastered the art of saying, I
Yeah.
feel you, but
Yeah.
actually, isko ghanta farak nahi padta. Right? And therefore, the
Absolutely.
point I'm trying to make is one, can you be present in the moment? Two, can you offer respect and deep listening?
Mm.
And three, as many balls as you want to juggle. Yeah. as many things as you want to do, can you ensure that you have a good understanding of your own appetite? Because if you're chewing a lot more and if you're not able to digest, then you're going to lead to constipation. And constipation could manifest itself in various ways. You'll make mistakes, there'll be errors, you'll get frustrated, you'll get
Yeah.
irritated, you'll wonder one task is not moving, this person is not responding, that client is not paying my bills, X, Y, and Z. But if you
Yeah.
maintain that focus, I think you do justice, more or less, you end up doing justice to what you are doing in the moment.
Yeah.
And I'll give you one
I
classic case, right, Shivani? A classic case. So many of us have been on Zoom calls all through
yeah.
COVID, right?
Yeah.
How many of us actually shut down our Outlook? We didn't.
Yeah.
Because even though, just think of it, right? When you're in a meeting, in a physical
Yeah.
meeting, in a meeting room, and you get a notification, but you every time look at your phone, you wouldn't, because that is disrespect.
Yeah.
But just because I think that Shivani can't make out through my eyeballs and I'm looking at that pop up on the bottom
Something
right of my
else.
screen and I'm
Yeah.
opening that email, am I reading it? Of course she can. And if I have glasses and the glare, she can even more because Shivani is
Yeah.
intelligent enough, right? And isn't that disrespect? That's clear disrespect.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
don't we just do simple things like shutting off Outlook so that there
Mm.
are no pop ups for that half an hour
Mm.
meeting that we are on?
Mm. Yeah. Absolutely. I totally agree with the myth that the multitasking is all about. And in fact, in my workshops, this is what I tell people that if you are saying that I'm a great multitasker, you are fooling yourself and nobody else because there is no such term as multitasking that exists. And like you rightly said, it is switch tasking. And I think the points that you made around having respect for people, when you're in, I think it's all about being in the moment and not doing 10 other things because human brain, like you rightly said, is wired to focus on one thing at a time. So we're just, pulling that attention time and giving it to some other activity, even if it is a fraction of seconds. So we're not concentrating on both and we're not doing justice to both. So great takeaways there for the audience, Sahil, respecting, people being in the moment and, the point around eat how much, you can chew. Not everybody has the appetite to run. Some people are very successful walking and they can do wonders in walking. So not everybody has to run. So I totally agree on that. And I think that's a very powerful takeaway for our listeners as well. Now, Sahil, you've often said, I've heard you in conversations that careers aren't, ladders, but they are journeys to be enjoyed. So, what's that one myth about success you feel that the young professionals, especially the Gen Z, would probably unlearn sooner?
I think this is a very powerful question, but at the same time, we'll have a slightly longish answer. So just bear with me because anyway, you said these are deep conversations, right? So let's stay
Yeah,
with that.
absolutely.
I
Go
think
on.
there was a generation that eyed the corner office. There was
Mm,
a generation that waited for their nameplate to be on the door and
yes.
said, Mr. So and so, managing
Yeah.
director, vice president, whatever, right? And there was a generation that said, I have a secretary. And having a secretary was a really big thing,
Yeah.
right? And the reason all these things were such big things, whether you had a corner office or the size of your office was bigger than the size of my office, or whether I had a secretary, you didn't have a secretary, or whether the nameplate on my door was there and you had a general cabin,
Mm,
was because careers were ladders,
mm,
right? You had to go through the grind, you had to spend
yeah.
certain number of years, you had
Yeah.
to reach certain levels before you reached the top of the ladder.
Absolutely.
And therefore, that also meant that growth was linear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with the way generations have changed, with the way work has changed, with the way workplaces have changed,
Mm,
I think today's Gen Z or today's millennials
mm,
don't necessarily look at their careers as ladders, right? Because
yeah.
there is a mid generation in between as well, right? So the
Mm,
generation that went up the ladder, then maybe
mm,
one or two or three generations prior to our generation
mm,
also tried going up the ladder, but they realized that they are playing snakes and ladders. And
Yes.
as they're playing snakes and ladders, they've seen the current generation has seen their parents or their chacha or their
Yeah.
mama suddenly being victimized by
Yeah.
toxicity or
Yes.
politics or mama today is at 99, right, almost reaching home, but
Mm.
वो सांप ने उनको डस दिया तो वो गिर गए. ठीक है. And I may say
Yeah.
this in a very funny and hilarious way, but people who've gone
It's
through this and
yeah,
who've,
it's very painful. Yeah.
yeah, because there was this huge stigma of
Yeah.
layoffs 10,
Yes.
15 years ago. That,
Oh,
any
yes.
kind of layoff
Yeah.
had only two connotations. Either there was an integrity issue
Yeah.
or there was a personal issue, which
Push.
was,
Mm.
yeah, very, very
Mm.
inappropriate behavior.
Mm.
There was no
Mm.
third issue why someone would get laid off because
Correct.
historically no one would lay you off for non performance.
Yes.
And
Yes.
therefore, that generation started looking up to their parents, mama, chacha, or chacha, chachi, whatever, gender equal,
Mm.
to say,
Mm.
listen, क्या हो गया? कल से आप
Mm.
नौकरी पे नहीं जा रहे हो? And then their
Mm.
awareness increased because it was a ladder concept.
Mm.
And in the ladder
Mm.
concept, just because the snake has bit you, you've now
Mm.
fallen or you've gone back 3 years, you're sitting at home, you're trying to be an entrepreneur, juggle with
Yeah.
that, or get another job. The other job is
Mm.
paying you lesser than your previous job, it's impacting your lifestyle, blah, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to our
Mm.
generation. I
Mm.
think our generation has realized कि boss ये snake and ladder खेलने में कोई मजा नहीं है,
Mm.
right? We're going to play Uno.
Mm.
And Uno does
Mm.
have draw four, it has draw two, it has skip,
Yeah.
it also has
Yeah.
reverse.
Yeah.
Right? So there may be times where you've taken a wrong call because you've decided to leave a company at the drop of a hat because you thought, hey, you know what? I don't like my boss.
Mm.
And you've sat at home, you've gone to the Himalayas, you've had Maggie, you've come back, you've gone on a biking expedition, and you've realized, okay, now I need another job, and another job is not paying me as much as the previous one, so you reverse.
Mm. Mm.
COVID also taught us that people who had the skills
Yeah.
actually skipped levels
Yeah.
because they had niche skills and they were so talented and they were willing to solve problems that were not being solved earlier. They
Yeah.
had a skip in Uno and they were actually getting 2x, 3x salary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
similarly, a draw two or a draw four where you change colors or you add in, just for those who don't know how to play the game of Uno, I'm just calling out the analogy so you understand it well. In the corporate world, you also had a draw two and a draw four, and where you got in penalties for
Mm.
not being able to ride the wave. Or
Yeah.
you thought that you were a brilliant HR person
Mm.
only when someone hit a draw four and changed the color from red to blue, and you realize now I've been a compliance guy all my life. And today AI is looking after compliance and rudimentary
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know HR advisory. So someone walks up to me and says, attrition is at 30%. I don't need an MIS or a dashboard from you, but I actually need engagement
How do
strategies
you
of how I
solve it?
can engage
Yeah.
the workforce.
Mm. Mm.
And I'm wondering, hey, I have three blue cards with me. I thought I'll do one, two, Uno, and then I'll win the game. Suddenly, this person has changed the color from green to blue. What do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the kind of generation that we're living in. So, careers are no longer ladders.
Mm.
Careers, to my mind, are more zigzag.
Mm.
It is not just about speed, but it is
Yeah.
also about navigation. It's not just about
Yes.
GPS and direction, but it's also about knowing that even though this may be a shorter route,
Mm.
but if it has more traffic, it'll take me longer to reach.
Mm.
And at times, I don't mind taking the longer route because that is far more scenic and far more beautiful. And
Yeah.
I'll enjoy that longer drive because
Yeah.
I have enough time on hand. And journeys and careers are not built in a day or a year, but they're built over a lifetime.
Yeah. Wow. So I think the long answer was totally worth it. What a beautiful analogy, explaining this entire concept with two very loved games. And Sahil, I totally get this point that today's generation. I work with a lot of Gen Zs in my team, and in the clients' teams. And what I see is that what's important for them is not to climb the ladder. What's important for them is to enjoy climbing that ladder. So that's one big shift that has happened. If something does not excite me, I will probably work for some time into it, but I won't, spend years slogging it out, something that probably the previous generations had to do. So I think that's one very big change that I have personally seen. And secondly, things have changed on the other side as well. Like you rightly said that a few years back, if somebody was laid off, the ultimate judgment was that it could be the two reasons that you mentioned. I think the other side also has softened a little bit. I no longer, in interviews, see people, taking or getting surprised at why did you choose to leave your job for a sabbatical because you wanted to pursue your passion for music. So I see changes on that front as well. We're getting a little less judgmental about people's career choices, and I think that's the change that has come about. What a beautiful story, Sahil, and we all know that you're a signature storyteller. So my next question to you is around that. You build communities like HR Bytes, and you have a podcast, that was going on for some time. So from your experience, from your podcasting journey, what's the one storytelling hack, that professionals can maybe steal or, take away from you, which you think will be able which will enable them to make their ideas stick. A lot of people struggle with that. That I have a great idea, whether it is somebody in a corporate job, whether it's an entrepreneur wanting to launch something, or any realm in life. Uh, you're an excellent storyteller yourself. So what's that one thing that you'd like to share with people? How can they embark on this journey of storytelling in the corporate world or anywhere else?
Uh, I think, Shivani, we don't need to look far and beyond, right? If you just look back at Bollywood, I think over the years, if you look at the kind of movies that we've made, I think Bollywood movies itself teach us so much about storytelling. The reason
Yeah,
why I say they teach us so much about storytelling is because they also tell you what to do and they tell you what not to do,
yeah.
right? The movies that have failed, whether it has been a 3 hour, a 3.5 hour movie with the changing times, and you've said, listen, 3 songs could have been avoided,
Mm,
right? They were just out of place, not needed. Why were they there? The movie could have been more shorter, more crisper, more
yeah,
punchier, right? Certain Bollywood movies with absolutely no songs or just one or two amazing songs, right?
yeah,
So it's about knowing what needs to get into the story.
yeah. And
Second,
we've also all seen songs that have been put in Zabardasti, to add
correct,
masala, which were absolutely not required. So yeah,
correct. And we've
agree with
also
you. Yeah.
seen movies where the songs have been super hit, but the movie flopped, right? So if you
Yes.
go clubbing and
Many
dancing,
examples.
so
Yeah.
many examples of where the songs are amazing,
Yeah.
but no one would
Yeah.
even spend 15 minutes watching the movie.
People won't even remember.
They won't
For
remember.
example, just to go off the track. In fact, last week I was at one of these places, and there was this Bollywood song being played called "Saath Samundar," and everybody started dancing and this and that. And believe me, I think not even 5% people knew the name of the movie. They thought the movie's name is Saath Samundar only. So just adding some context to what you said.
Correct, correct, correct. So I think that is one. Second is the ability. I think Indians have this inborn talent, right, which is drama,
Mm,
right? And I think if you just look at that, even a small child learns very, very quickly that any behavior that is rewarded will get repeated.
mm,
So when a child cries, you end up giving the child milk. And if you don't give milk, the child cries more. And then you
mm,
realize, oh my God, now this child is making my life hell. I'm on a work call and therefore I need to get this child to not make noise. And you give the
mm,
child an iPad.
mm.
So now the
Yeah.
child has very quickly learned that if I want to watch the iPad, the input button that I need to press is cry.
Yeah.
And I think that is a very powerful hook in storytelling as well, whether it's drama, whether it's emotion, whether it is adding twists in the story. Because
Yeah.
anybody who could look at plain data, read Excel sheets, they wouldn't want to listen to you. They would simply open an Excel sheet, they would look at it, they would draw insights and close.
Mm,
But if you have a very powerful story that allows for people to say, oh my God, what happened next? Shivani, you watched
mm,
this movie? Either I'll tell you, Shivani, don't tell me because I want to watch the movie myself and don't give me the
mm,
secret, right?
mm,
Which is when I'll say, listen, I've looked at the data, I've looked at the Excel sheet, I know there is a
mm,
link that's missing. Give me
mm,
24 hours, I'll crack it and come back because I love that challenge. I love doing it myself. I want to watch the
mm,
movie myself, so on and so forth. And
Mm.
others will say, listen, I'm not anyway going to go and watch the movie, so why don't you tell me what it is? And
Mm.
when you tell me what it is, I will start analyzing to say, hey, man, that was a very loose plot. It could have been done better.
Mm.
Or that was a very
Yeah.
amazing plot. I didn't think of it. Or if I was the director, I would not have done it that way.
Mm.
I learned a thing or two. And I think
Mm.
that's the power of storytelling. Right? Today, if I ask you, tell me Pythagoras theorem, you wouldn't
Mm.
remember it, right? But if I ask you, tell me the hare and tortoise story, you'll remember it by heart. And that's
Yes.
the fact that humans remember stories a lot more better
Yeah.
than they remember data. Most,
Yeah.
and I'm generalizing it, but most humans. So,
Yeah.
therefore, my suggestion is what do professionals do? What can they steal? Where do they make ideas stick? I think a great opening, you
Mm.
have to have data in place. You can't just say, I'm just saying a story and the story has no head or tail, right? So you have
Yeah.
to weave in the data, you have to weave in the information, the insights, the message. And finally,
Yeah.
towards the end, you have to have a hook that makes people want more, ask
Stick
more,
on. Yeah.
have a CTA, do a double click saying, what's my call to action? What next? What after this? Is there sequel 2 coming?
Yes.
Is there another movie? Am I left to wonder what do I do with this data? Or are you going to make sense out of it for me? What's the next course of action?
Yeah. Sahil, while you were talking about the, this entire example about the Bollywood movies, in fact, an example that came to my mind, I'm not a science student, never been good at science and maths, because you asked me whatever you asked me, I don't remember. But I remember, interestingly, a story around, I don't know the Archimedes principle. I don't remember what it was, but I do remember the story which was, taught to us in grade 8 of how he discovered the Archimedes principle. And I still remember that he was
Wow.
taking a bath and he just had a eureka moment and he ran out on the streets and said, Eureka, Eureka. I remember that. But I do not remember what was the Archimedes principle. So I'm just trying to tell you the power of stories, the power of retention. And with stories, I think this immense that one can not just retain, but I think also contribute, like you said. And it's a very simple trick. A lot of people, I think, struggle not with the storytelling, but with the fact that whatever idea they want to sell or whatever idea they want to pitch, how do they convert it into a story? And I think from my experience, I've seen that any idea in this world can be converted into a very powerful story. You just need to think through it, and you need to, of course, know the tools, like you said. Have a problem statement, say what you're trying to solve, go, kind of build a climax as to where you are heading to, and then open the how you will you solve that problem, and finally give a logical closure to it. I personally feel that storytelling, people who are good storytellers, they have a very good potential to do well in lives because stories work everywhere. Whether you're in the finance team, whether you're in the HR team, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're working in an NGO, I think anywhere stories really work wonders. So that's the reason I asked you this question, because I feel that a lot of people have great ideas, a lot of people are good thinkers, but when it comes to selling it and weaving it in the form of a story, they struggle with it. So I think your answer would help people who are struggling on that front. Okay, time for the fun sign off. We're reaching towards the fag end of our awesome conversation, the last sip. And this is also a rapid fire question, Sahil. So, a surprise, surprise. We start with a rapid fire and we end with a rapid fire, but only one question this time. And that question is that if your life were a TED talk, okay, what would the title on that big red dot be? The title. And would it come with a background music? If yes, what's the background music or a song, whatever you want to say?
My God, you've packed in so many questions into one, but this one's going to definitely make me think. I think the song definitely would be Dil Chahta Hai. I think
Mm.
very, very close to my heart.
Hmm.
HR as a profession, as a purpose, as the fact that you look at human potential. And there is so much that human potential has, and
Yeah.
therefore, Dil Chahta Hai is a song that would come in. What would be the title on the big red dot? Um,
Apart from the HR Bites guy, we want to listen to some other title, please.
I think it would just be HR, the comedy of errors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that would be the title, I think.
Awesome.
Because I think HR is not about black and white as much as you
Yeah.
look at a finance guy trying to balance a balance sheet. And I know you just did a training program for some finance professionals and drew out a ledger for them with positive emotions and negative emotions. But I think HR is not like finance. So it's not about black and
Yeah.
white. It's all about 50 shades of gray. And I
Yeah.
think, therefore, the comedy of errors.
50 Shades of Grey is an understatement. You worked in HR, you know it. It's many, many shades beyond 50
101
of
shades
gray.
of gray. Let's do it that
Beyond that.
way.
Superb, superb. So that brings us to the end of our very first episode. Thank you so much, Sahil. This truly was a conversation that I enjoyed, and I'm sure our audience have sensed that, the fun that we had. We, of course, spoke about business and some deep career conversations, but I loved the overall, the energy that you brought into this episode. Your passion clearly came out both for the professional part and for the personal part as well, of looking at careers not as ladders but as journeys. Thank you so much. And I'd love to have you back with us again on another episode, on another topic, maybe.
Super. Thank you so much, Shivani, and keep smiling like you always do. Enjoy every moment, is what I see right behind you. So have fun and focus on the good.
Thank you. Thank you. And to our audience, thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow us so that you don't miss the exciting lineup that we have for season two. We'll continue to bring you fresh perspectives, sharp conversations, and of course, a lot of fun along the way. Until next time, keep your coffee strong and your career conversations stronger. See you soon.